The famous Disney movie Alice in Wonderland is known for the iconic scene in which Alice falls down the rabbit hole. In the rabbit hole, Alice eats cookies that distort her body. One cookie makes her extremely small and everything around her large, and the other cookie does the exact opposite. Hi, I'm Nicole Pulsinelli, and today I'm going to inform you about Alice in Wonderland syndrome. After hearing about this rare psychological condition, I began to do ample research on it, from reading articles to case studies and everything in between. 4 key points I learned during this research include: what exactly is Alice in Wonderland syndrome? What are some symptoms of the disorder? The likely candidates who are to suffer from Alice in Wonderland syndrome, and the possible treatment methods for Alice in Wonderland syndrome. Now, to get further into those points, the first one lies in the question, what is Alice in Wonderland syndrome? Alice in Wonderland syndrome was first described in 1955 according to Jan Dirk Blom's 2016 clinical study. The Discovery Fit and Health writers in 2012 define Alice in Wonderland syndrome as a neurological condition in which perception is distorted, causing disorientation and a warping of the senses. This source also states how this distortion occurs when the signals from the eyes to the brain are interrupted. This interruption leads us on to the second main point. What are the symptoms of Alice in Wonderland syndrome? In 2016, Heidi Moed shares the most common symptoms, such as the hallucination of one's body becoming physically smaller or larger, in her article for the Neurology Times. With this comes the appearance of everything around the person either shrinking or enlarging. In Helene Stupinski's case, when her 10-year-old daughter began showing signs of Alice in Wonderland syndrome, she remembered having similar symptoms when she suffered from the disorder herself as a child. They both agree that it feels as if you were looking through the opposite end of a telescope or binoculars. Now that you know the symptoms of Alice in Wonderland syndrome, let's continue to my third part, which is the people who are likely candidates for this disorder. According to the ABC 7 News, reporter Denise Stater states that Alice in Wonderland syndrome is most commonly found in children from the ages of 2 to 13, with the average age being about 6 years old. This visual aid, pulled from the Journal of the American Academy of Neurology, displays this point as seen in the graph. The red bars are indicating that the most cases were reported in children ranging from ages 2 to 13, and the high point lies at about 6 years of age. Children who suffer from headaches, migraines, epilepsy, and in some cases high fever are candidates to experience Alice in Wonderland syndrome, according to the Discovery Fit and Health writers in their 2012 article. Next, my fourth and final main point is to discuss the possible treatment methods for Alice in Wonderland syndrome. The writers from Discovery Fit and Health in their 2012 article state that the treatments for this disorder are similar to those for people who suffer from migraines. Also, antidepressants and rest are treatments for this disorder. However, Alice in Wonderland syndrome is proven to go away on its own over time, according to the 2014 ABC News report by Denise Stater. People who suffer from Alice in Wonderland syndrome experience firsthand what it's like to be Alice in the movie Alice in Wonderland. In conclusion, I have now informed you of 4 key points, being: what is Alice in Wonderland syndrome? What are the symptoms of Alice in Wonderland syndrome? Who are the likely candidates to suffer from this disorder? And what are some possible treatment methods for people who suffer from Alice in Wonderland syndrome? Now that I have informed you of these very important key points, I hope that you now have a better understanding of what Alice in Wonderland syndrome exactly is. Thank you for listening. I am Nicole Pulsinelli.